out of Europe involving NATO and Russia. Russian fighter jets today, I'm filming this on Friday, September 19th, breached NATO airspace. That is right. You heard me correctly. Multiple Russian fighter jets have breached NATO airspace, breached NATO boundaries. This is a massive escalation of the situation. This is developing as I am bringing it to you. We really don't know where this is going to go next or what could happen next. This is a shocking development. It comes on the heels of the drones and essentially the drone attack that unfolded by the Russians in Poland. We'll discuss that as well. And we are really off to the races here as President Donald Trump makes it clear time and time again. He is very unhappy with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And now the Russians have breached NATO airspace. Before we get into the latest developments and exactly what is happening, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. And is a huge, huge, huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. What do you think about this situation? What do you think about the Russians breaching NATO airspace? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. Right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. And real quickly, do we see that stealth bomber? It says the devil's own. I got this shirt from a very good friend who is at a location I don't think I'm at liberty to disclose. She brought the shirt back for me. It's got a stealth bomber on it. Probably more details there that I can't share at this time, but thank you very much for the gift. I appreciate it. It's a badass shirt. Now let's get into it. We have seen rising tensions between the United States of America and the Russians. We've seen rising tensions between Russia and all of NATO ever since the invasion of Ukraine unfolded. Of course, that led to a terrible, and still is ongoing, terrible, bloody war that is nothing short of absolutely horrific. We're not going to sugarcoat it for you. There are hundreds of thousands of dead, millions wounded, millions displaced, and there is no end in sight. The Russians have decided that they're not really interested in a peace deal of any kind, despite President Donald Trump making multiple attempts to get a deal done. The Russians have balked at every effort, and that has led to increased tension, increased escalation. We saw the drones that went into Poland. We saw the drones that went into Romania, and now we have the biggest escalation of them all, and that is, I'm going to throw this on the screen for you here. Russian fighter jets breached NATO airspace on Friday. That is right. The Russians have breached NATO protected airspace. They have entered the airspace of NATO countries. This is perhaps the biggest escalation we've seen so far. Doing it with drones is one thing. Doing it with fighter jets is a totally different ballgame. So let's read this. It says Estonian airspace. Estonia is, of course, a member of NATO. Now, NATO has Article 5. An attack on one will be treated as an attack on all. Thus, if you attack a NATO country, you got to fight all of NATO. That's why the treaty exists. It was created after World War II to stop the Soviet Union. I'm not going to sit here and debate the politics of NATO. Good idea, bad idea, whatever you guys think. That's not what this video is about. This is about NATO being violated by Russian fighter jets. So it says Estonian airspace was violated by 3 Russian jets on Friday, the country's foreign ministry said, adding that it had summoned Russia's Charge d'Affaires. I probably butchered that, made a fool of myself. No big deal. Let me know in the comments. Over the incident, 3 Russian MiG-31 fighter jets entered Estonian airspace over the Gulf of Finland without permission and remained there for a total of 12 minutes. So the Russian fighter jets were flying over Estonia for 12 whole minutes before they eventually left. It says Russia has already violated Estonia's airspace 4 times this year, which in itself is unacceptable. But today's incursion involving 3 fighter aircraft entering our airspace is unprecedentedly brazen. Estonian Foreign Minister Margus Tashikana, again, probably butchered that, said, Russia's increasingly extensive testing of the boundaries and growing aggressiveness must be met with a swift increase in political and economic pressure. The incident on Friday comes after Russian drones violated both Polish and Romanian airspace this month, prompting NATO allies to pledge to beef up defenses in the eastern flank. Now, I believe, and I'm going to pull it up here, that they did breach, and then the United States, sorry, not the United States, NATO So let me see if I can find this. So I'm going to put this up on the screen. This comes from Fox News. So right here, it says that Italian F-35s were scrambled. So we scrambled stealth fighters. Stealth fighters were scrambled that then chased the Russian fighter jets out of NATO airspace. Here's the crazy part. The Russian jets, as you can read here, a NATO defense source initially said the jets were carrying high-speed air-launched ballistic missiles called Kinzhals, but later clarified they were only capable of doing so. It is unclear if the jets were actually armed. So it is possible right now that Russian MiG-31s, which are incredibly fast, big fighter jets, entered Estonian airspace armed with ballistic missiles. That is unconfirmed. We do not know for sure. This is the specific aircraft. You can see it on the screen right there. That is the MiG-31. So look at the size of that thing. That is a massive, massive fighter jet. There's another picture. You can see the cockpit. Right there would be an example of the Kinzhal missile armed on it. So there you go. That is the jets. Now, if you look here, they were first manufactured in 1975. Manufacture ended in 1994. And this is the plane right here, the MiG-31. That is what the Russians flew. And now I'm going to pull this off the screen, put this on the screen. NATO released a statement, and it said, this is from the NATO spokesperson, earlier today, Russian jets violated Estonian airspace. NATO responded immediately and intercepted the Russian aircraft. But did they respond immediately? Because it took 12 minutes for F-35s to get in the air and get them out of NATO airspace. This is yet another example of reckless Russian behavior and NATO's ability to respond. So I'm going to put this up on the screen right now for you. Let me get this up there. We all remember the incident not that long ago where Russia sent drones into Poland. They had to be shot down by fighter jets. Poland and NATO scrambled fighter jets. They shot down the Russian drones. There's a couple video of that. So in this video, you can hear the fighter aircraft up in the sky. And then we have another video right here. Let me make sure that's on the screen for y'all. It is. This is an actual shoot down of a drone over Poland. You see it coming in, and then boom, it gets smoked. All right, we'll pull that off the screen now. So we have the Russians have sent 3 very powerful, possibly heavily armed fighter jets into NATO airspace. Technically, that could be viewed as an act of war. Now, do I think World War III is going to start because Russian fighter jets went into Estonian and NATO airspace? No. What the Russians are doing, and I'm going to keep it very honest with you, what the Russians are doing here is they're gathering information. They're testing the boundaries of NATO. They're testing the response time. They're trying to figure out, hey, if we want to do this, how long is it going to take for NATO aircraft to get in the sky? The answer was 12 minutes. That ain't great. I want to be honest with you. That's not great. You can do a lot of damage with ballistic missiles from the sky if you go up there unchallenged for 12 minutes. That's just the fact of the matter. Now, having said that, if F-35s get into a direct conflict with MiG-31s, because Italian F-35s were the planes that went up there to stop them, the F-35s are going to clean the floor with them. The F-35 has stealth capabilities. It can engage targets before the targets even know they've been spotted. The MiG-31 does not. Now, the Su-57, I'll pull up a picture of the Su-57. This is the Russian 5th gen. Let me add this to the screen. Get it up there for you. This is the Su-57, the Sukhoi 57. This is Russia's 5th generation fighter jet. It's supposed to be their version of the F-22, but its radar signature is apparently way bigger. and it's not nearly as stealthy. It's also not nearly as cool looking, if we're being totally honest with each other. So I don't know what that is. That must be radar detection or whatever it is. But here you go. Now, if the Su-57 gets sent, it's believed Russia has 10 of them. It's possible only 2 or 3 of them are operational. That'd be a more interesting scenario. But at the end of the day, MiG-31s against American F-35s, or certainly American F-32s, are going to get smoked. But more than anything, this goes to show Vladimir Putin in Russia is going to continue to push the limits. They're going to continue to violate NATO airspace. They're going to continue to cause problems for NATO. And we just all need to be real clear and crystallized about that. How do you respond to this? I'm sure NATO has plans drawn up. But by the letter of the law, this could be considered an act of war. Again, they're not going to activate Article 5 over it. That's not going to happen. But the reality is we are going further up the escalation ladder. In every step we go up, the worse and worse it could get, and the higher risk there is for the situation to spiral out of control, which we should all hope to avoid. I don't know how the war in Ukraine is going to end. I truly have no idea, but I know this. We continue down this path, we are likely to find ourselves in worse and worse situations. And if an F-35 shoots down a Russian MiG over NATO territory, it will be off to the races at that point. And to be quite clear, if you fly armed fighter jets into NATO territory, you probably should be shot down. That's a direct threat. I mean, you think the United States would let a country fly fighter jets through our airspace? Absolutely not. They'd blow them out of the sky. So we are dealing with a serious situation here. We all need to be aware of it. We all need to understand what is at stake. And I hope we do. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Should they have shot the planes down? What happens next? Give me your predictions in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. You'll have the best information on YouTube, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X D Hookstead. You can find me there. And then right here, thanks again for the shirt, the Devil's Own. Very cool shirt with the stealth bomber right at the top. The mic kind of covered it up, but really cool shirt. So thank you very much to my friend who got me that. Got to keep some of the details a little classified for now. But anyways, I'll see you all next time.